Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. What the heck is going on around here? Well, stick around and stay tuned and I'll tell you. Right, so welcome back to the channel, folks. And I know what you're thinking, what the heck is TMF doing sitting in his garage next to a freezer that's got sound insulation on it? Well, I've got no good answer for that. But anyway, it's a lovely day outside, so what I thought I'd do is it's a good excuse to take the trusty GS out and give you a bit of an update on what's been going on in the world of TMF. So, as Norley would say, let's go.
So you know I said the sun was out. Well, I might be being a little bit optimistic. It was indeed out when I decided I was going to come out and ride on the bike. By the time I'd faffed about getting the bikes out of the garage and so on, it's gone in. God, look at the state of this road. You may wonder where on earth I'm riding. And I'm starting to wonder that too. Uh-oh. First white van of the day, look at that. I've not been on the bike for 3 minutes. Good man. Thank you. So yeah, out on the trusty GS. Absolutely love this bike. Recently got it serviced, and I don't want to talk anything up, but it's running absolutely sweet as a nut. Everything on the bike works. It's 10 years old now, done 30,000 miles on it, or over 30,000 miles, and it's just a fantastic machine. I do still smell petrol on it though. I've got a whiff of petrol. I've got a problem with the fuel filler on this. And apparently the bit of the tank inside it. Oh look, there's a blue van, that makes a change. Thank you. Apparently the tank is slightly warped. The BMW dealer is now defunct, who told me that, said it was because I've been using E10 fuel in the tank, that with 10% ethanol, and therefore it was eating away the fuel tank, which is an absolute load of baloney as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, there we go. So this video then, what the heck is it all about? Well, really, it's just an excuse for me to catch up with you, give you a bit of an update on what's been going on in the world of TMF. Last night was watching a video from username Kate, and she was doing a sort of an update thing. I thought, you know what, I haven't done one of those for ages. I enjoy watching other people's versions of those. I thought it was about time I did one, so that's why I'm here. So thank you, Kate, for the idea. So quite a few things to catch you up on. I suppose first off, I must say a huge thank you to everybody who follows me on Instagram. And if you don't, why not? Just look up Missenden Flyer on Instagram and follow me there. And yeah, thanks to everybody on Instagram who sent me best wishes last week. This time last week, in fact, this time last week to the hour, I was under the knife in hospital having the latest operation on my right shoulder. And it's, I suppose it's a testament to medical science that here I am riding a big heavy adventure bike exactly a week after that operation. Incredible, really. Now on the one hand you think, oh that's great, shoulder's obviously fixed, but that's not quite what's happened. Unfortunately the operation wasn't a success, so unfortunately I still have a severely frozen right shoulder, but as you can see it's not stopping me riding at the moment at least, so that's the main thing. But thanks everybody who sent me best wishes while I was in hospital. It did pass the time responding to your messages while I was coming around from the general anaesthetic, which I've now had 3 times in the last year. I've never had a general anaesthetic before, but as I say, 3 times in the last year now, thanks to operations on this shoulder. I have to say, I find the whole thing fascinating. I'm glad it works, I'm glad it exists, but the way you kind of, they switch you off in an instant is amazing. Anyway, so if you're facing an operation and you're a bit worried because you've never had a general anaesthetic before, don't worry about it. Honestly, I quite enjoy it in a bizarre way. I know it's not something you should actively look out for, and let's face it, having an operation is never pleasant, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that side of it. Anyway, that's from a sort of from a scientific curiosity point of view. 2 more white vans, look at this. I am blessed today. Unbelievable. Anyway, lovely to be back out on the big old GS, which has sort of become, I've decided, my sort of winter hack. I do need to use the bike more because it is a great bike. What do I get up there? Look, Bryant's Bottom Road. That sounds like the sort of place I should investigate. You've got to love English names, haven't you? Bryant's Bottom Road. I wonder who Bryant was and how come his bottom got a road named after it. Must have been something quite special. Anyway, let's see where we go. Where was I? Oh yes, the GS. Yes, great. I've decided it's going to be my sort of winter hack. So because it is getting older, and it's probably the bike out of all the bikes owned that's probably worth the least, maybe, then I'm not too precious about it. I absolutely love the bike. I've got a lot of history with it. I have no intention of flogging it, but there's no point in keeping a bike if you're not using it. So it's sort of going to be my winter hack, the bike that I ride around with in winter, not worry about it getting too mucky. I've been riding it quite a bit of late with Mrs. Fly. She's been out on her Z900 RS. I'm sure we'll be making some videos together soon on that. And again, thanks to everybody that's queried how Mrs. Fly is getting on. She's doing just fine, enjoy riding the bike. Anyway, when we've been out, she's been out on her bike, I've been out riding this. It's been great to get reacquainted with it. Just a cracking machine. Do love a GS me. I think for me, peak GS was the 1250. This is a 1200 that I've got. The 1300 is a fantastic bike, no doubt, to ride. There's just lots of things about it that niggle me. So yeah, I think if I was to buy another GS, it would be the newest 1250 I could find. But as I say, I'm quite happy with this one. Here we are in Bryant's bottom. Will the mystery be solved as to who Bryant was? What happened to his bottom? The Gate pub and dining. That's one for me and Mrs. Fly to try out sometime. Actually, a lovely time of year here in Blighty. Okay, it's not a particularly sunny day today, but it is dry and it is relatively warm. What is it? 16 degrees centigrade, which I suppose is about average for October. I'm filming this, it's about October the, I don't know, it's Wednesday anyway, and I'm looking to post this tomorrow, Thursday, so you can work that out for yourself. But as you can see, look, the trees are just starting to turn into their autumnal colours. Another couple of weeks and out on the bike on a sunny blue sky day. Will be absolutely cracking around here. Very lucky to live in the part of the world that I do. Number one, to live in Western Europe, of course. Number two, to live in Great Britain. And number three, to live in the Chilterns, which is in the southeast of England, quite close to London, but very countryside, as you can see. So you've got the best of both worlds here. But that has to be said, the road surfaces are absolutely rubbish. Eagle-eyed ones amongst you will notice that I've got the my Chiggy device still running, the device that I made a video about a while back, and it basically brings Apple CarPlay to my GS, integrates with the RIS wheel. You don't have to do any install, you just plug it in and off you go. Brilliant bit of kit, loving it, and it is now a permanent fixture on the GS because I love Apple CarPlay. I've got another similar unit coming soon. I got contacted by a company called, I think it's Aochi. They're the one that have been all over the place actually. I know that Richie Vida and Chopsy recently made videos about the Aochi device, which is similar but cheaper. Now, it's not BMW specific, you have to wire it in, it might be a load of faff, but they contacted me to see if I wanted to have a go with theirs. And I wasn't going to bother, of course, because I'm very happy with the Chiggy. But I've got some trips planned on my Speed Twin for early next year, and that hasn't really got a good navigation system for what I plan to do on it. Will become clear on that in the new year. So I've asked for the smallest version they've got that I can try on my retro bike, so that is coming up soon. Apparently their device is in the post to me, so I'll let you know how I get on with that. So if it's as good as the Chiggy, I'll be very happy. And as I say, I'll let you know how I get on. I'm not entirely sure where this brings me out. It's all very lovely. Only problem with this time of year, of course, is the light fades very quickly, doesn't it? It's 2:30 in the afternoon when I'm filming this, and although it's quite a bright day, I imagine it'll be, you know, dark by 5:15, and then we change the clocks very soon. I think maybe even next weekend, isn't it? Must be soon. 21st is the winter solstice, isn't it? Anyway, pretty soon, and then it's that's when my old seasonally affected disorder kicks in. I hate the dark evenings, and well, my solution this year, well, that relates to the Speed Twin trip that I mentioned earlier. So what have I been up to motorcycle wise recently? Well, at the moment in the fleet, in the loan fleet from Press Loans, I've got a couple of Vosges motorcycles. Always controversial because of course they're Chinese machines. I assume it's pronounced Vosges, by the way, or is it Vogue? V-O-G-E. I rode the 525 yesterday, which is like the mini adventure bike, if you like. Let's go this way as well. Where shall I go? Oh no. Oh, I know where I am. Let's go down here to lose this car. Yeah, so I rode the 525 yesterday, made a video about that. That'll be coming up, not for a little while actually, probably after Christmas, but spoiler alert, actually it's a really good bike. Of all the Chinese bikes I've ridden, that is the best so far, but I've not ridden that many. And then tomorrow I'll be riding and reviewing, again for publication probably after Christmas, the Vosges Z900, the big adventure bike, which is absolutely amazing value, and I haven't ridden it yet, but just looking at it, it looks a lovely thing. So yeah, I'm well impressed with those. So if there's any questions you've got on those two Chinese motorcycles, leave them in the comments below, and then when I do the sort of summing up videos, if I get a chance to on those bikes, I'll answer your questions on those reviews, although as I say, you won't get to see them for a while. Now look at these trees, absolutely stunning. Oh, just say how good it was to be back on the GS. What a brilliant machine. Flipping love it. I'll tell you what, I often get asked what is my favourite motorcycle, and my favourite motorcycle is usually the one I'm riding, because I love all bikes, but if I'm honest about it, it's the bikes I own. It's the reason I bought them. They're the bikes I want to be riding, and if I could only have one motorcycle, it would be this. It does absolutely everything. You can have a ride down the back lanes like this, have a chat with your mates on YouTube. I hope you can hear me, by the way. I just realised I've got the visor open all the time. Probably a bit of wind blast coming in here. And yeah, you can do long journeys on it, anything you like. It's brilliant. I've got it in winter setup, as you might see from the 360 camera, if that's still running. By which I mean, I've got this seat on here. It's the Wunderlich heated seat. It's an aftermarket heated seat. It's not switched on at the moment, but you don't need it in these temperatures. But when it does get a bit colder, it's nice to have a warm body. If you've never ridden with a heated seat, you don't know what you're missing. It's one of those things that you know, I never knew I needed to have until I got this, and then got them on the Goldwing, and now I wouldn't dream of buying a bike that I'm going to do long distances on without having a heated seat. This turn here that I just had a late decision to come down is actually Cop Hill, home of the Cop Hill climb, and of course I'm going down it, so it's in reverse order. This isn't the Cop Hill climb, this is the Cop Hill descent. The cameras will, of course, make it seem like not a very big hill, but it is pretty steep at that point, trust me, although it won't look like that on these cameras. If you've never heard of the Cop Hill climb, it used to be part of the Grand Prix circuit in the 1920s. They used to race what became Formula 1 cars up this hill, would you believe? And these days there's something called the Cop Hill climb that happens every September, so you missed it for this year, where lots of vintage cars and bikes in fact, get run up this hill. Must come along in 2025 and watch that. I haven't been along for a few years, and it's a great event actually. Right, where's this car head going? Let's hope he's going right. Please go right. We've no idea because his indicators don't work, which is odd. It's a Honda and I know they're very reliable, but he's obviously didn't go for tick the option for having indicators that worked. Anyway, let's go this way. See what I mean about the Chilterns being a beautiful part of the world? We're barely 30 miles from the metropolis that is Europe's largest city, London. And look, here we have just beautiful vistas. Well, I haven't said that, it's a good job this isn't smell-o-vision, because there's a bit of an agricultural whiff in the air, I have to say. Whoa. Now, my nose doesn't work very well, but trust me, you ain't missing anything there. How nice to be out in the sunshine. There's one of those signs I love. Bruce likes the Nationals. I like those with the wiggly lines on. One of my favourite signs. I'll tell you what, I'm always going on about how great it is to ride in Wales and Scotland and recently Europe. But sometimes you forget what you got on your doorstep, don't you? Round here we don't have any great fast sort of flowing roads like you get, say, in Wales or Europe. But we do have some nice country lanes to explore. Talking of Europe leads me on to my next subject actually, which is my European tour, which I'm currently publishing on Saturdays. This Saturday I'll be publishing episode 3. I had some reports that some of you haven't been able to find them very well. I don't know if that means you've been unsubscribed to the channel. Now YouTube does do some strange things sometimes. I've had a few reports of people that have been unsubscribed without them actually physically unsubscribing. So if you do want to be subscribed to the channel, just check that you have hit the subscribe button and you are still logged in there, because YouTube does funny things sometimes. It has a bit of a cull and gets rid of people that actually do want to be subscribed. So that's not so good. Right, let's try and lose that car by going this way. Clear, clear. Single track road. Excellent. Where were we? What was I talking about? Can't remember. Oh, the tour series. That was it. Yeah. So the tour series. Thank you to everybody that's put such glowing comments on there. I don't think I've had a single negative comment on the tour videos, which is incredible. Normally somebody says something nasty about me, but I don't think anyone has. So it's gone down a storm with those of you that have watched it, so thank you for all the kind comments. Although I would say, it's what I always say with tour videos, they don't attract many viewers in the first place. They're some of the worst viewed videos I've made for a while. I don't know why that is. It can only be down to thumbnails and titles and things like that, because I personally think the content on that particular tour, and it's all based on my Goldwing, is some of the best I've ever done. So if you are bored, or if it is raining when you're on Saturday and you fancy watching a bit of YouTube, I implore you to watch those videos. I think you might like them. It's a 10-part series. Episode 3 on Saturday. Of course, episodes 1 and 2 are still there. If you missed them, go and check them out. It was a brilliant trip. It just shows how good the Goldwing is, actually, because I did that whole trip, several thousands of miles, with a frozen shoulder, which I think is pretty impressive. Let's go this way. Talking of videos that I've made, should I put that down? You can probably hear me better, but I don't know, might not look so good on the forward-facing camera. Anyway, yeah, talking of videos I've recently made, I put one up. In fact, this morning. I'm recording this on Wednesday. Hopefully you're watching this on Thursday or close to then. I put up a video this morning, Wednesday, on the Insta-X4, and I did have some critical comments on that. People were saying, oh, this is just a long advert. Well, yeah, to be honest, it absolutely is. That video, as in fact I said at the start of the video, was sponsored. I got paid for making that video by Insta360, who also gave me the camera for free. So draw your own conclusions on that, although I absolutely love Insta360 360 cameras. You know, I would have bought it anyway, and I use them all the time, as you will have seen if you've seen my tour videos, or indeed on this video I'm using these very same Insta-X4 as we speak. I love them. So I'm not, I don't think I've sold my soul to the devil there, but yeah, it is basically an advert for that. Now, they did want me to sign all sorts of complicated contracts, basically saying what I could and couldn't say, and they wanted me to submit the video before I published it, and all sorts of stuff, which I just wasn't having, because I'm not going to be, you know, although advertising is a necessary evil for full-time YouTubers, you know, I'm not actually going to sell my soul to say things that people want me to say. I will give my opinions on stuff. As it happens, my opinions on the Insta-X4 are pretty much all positive, although I did think of a couple of negative things to say, just in the interest of balance. But anyway, apologies if you didn't like the fact that I made a big advert type video. I promise I won't make a habit of it. I won't do more than one a month. I probably won't even do that many, because the opportunity to do them for me doesn't come up very often. But you know, I do this full time. This is what I spend my time doing, making videos for your entertainment. And as I've said in a previous video, I made a video about how much YouTube pays me. If you've not seen that, I'll put a link in the corner. That video ironically did quite well and made a bit of money. But anyway, yeah, you don't make much money as a YouTuber. I'm not saying that for a sob story. I don't expect any sympathy. I'm a perfectly well-off individual. I made my money long before I started YouTube. But this is really a hobby, just something I love doing. I love photography, I love riding bikes, I like making films, so why wouldn't I do this? Anyway, my point is, I do need to make a little bit of money out of YouTube, and one way of doing that is having adverts on my videos and the odd sponsored video. Now, I'm always very upfront about that. If I'm doing a sponsored video, I'll say it's a sponsored video. In fact, all my videos are sponsored, because I put logos at the start and end of them for my sort of channel sponsors, Canadian Motorcycle Tours and Biker Heads. And for a couple of months you'll see Insta360 there as well. They're sponsoring me until the end of the year. So thank you to those guys, and it's thanks to them that I can keep making videos. So anyway, sorry if it upset you that I made effectively an advertorial. I did try to be upfront about it. If you do see anything like that in the future, well, just skip it. You have my permission to not watch those advert type videos, of which there won't be many, I promise you. Here's how old I'm getting. I actually made a little crib sheet of the things that I want to say. Right, what's next? Right, next subject I just want to talk to you about and get a bit of your feedback is, what bikes are you excited about that are coming up? It's that time of year, isn't it? It's silly season. The bike shows are upon us nearly, and the manufacturers all start announcing their new wares for 2025 if they haven't already. And there's usually some exciting bikes coming up, or bikes that, you know, we're particularly interested to see. Personally, there's a few bikes that I'm really interested to ride and want to get hold of and review. They are the new CB1000 Hornet from Honda. Okay, some could argue it's not the most exciting naked bike out there, but I just think that black and gold SP one, I think it looks absolutely beautiful. and at 10 grand, something like that, it's an absolute bargain. So I've already been in discussion with Honda about when I can ride one of those, so there'll definitely be a review of that bike coming up. So I'm really looking forward to riding that. If it's as good as it looks, I'm actually quite tempted to buy one actually, but anyway, we'll see. Something would have to go if I buy another bike, that's the only issue. So that's one. The other one I'm really interested, which you might think is a bit out of character, but it's not really, it's the new Yamaha R9, a bike that I've been really looking forward to seeing. I love sports bikes. I don't own one at the moment, because with my dodgy shoulder it's actually quite painful for me to ride them. And I sold my Panigale a couple of years ago, and I've not had a sports bike since, but at heart I love sports bikes, and I want one back in the garage basically, and the R9 might be just the ticket. I love the engine on that bike. I loved it in the MT09. I love the looks of the R9. I think they've made it look like a proper sports bike, so really looking forward to learning more about that as well, and hopefully getting a ride on that. So Yamaha, if you're listening, put me down on the list for one of those. If you're not listening, Jeff, I should be writing to you and asking if I could have a borrow very soon. So that's another one I'm looking forward to. And then of course the BMW GS Adventure, got to ride that. Now I've made no secret of the fact I find the thing absolutely hideous. I know lots of people, to look at I mean, not to ride, I know lots of other vloggers have already gone to BMW, had a look at it, and to BMW's credit, they did invite me along to BMW HQ to have a look at it. I didn't go and do that because, well actually I was away on that tour. Plus also I knew lots of other YouTubers were doing exactly the same thing. I hate making the same videos as everybody else, so I sort of politely declined. But I do definitely want to ride that bike, and I'm anticipating it being an absolute corker to ride. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. The old GSA was, and the current 1300 GS is a beautiful bike to ride. I'm just not that enamoured with, number one, the looks, although the standard 1300 is starting to grow on me a little bit, although not too much, not enough to make me want to buy one. But really the thing about the current GS that I don't like, just some of the little niggles about the way that, you know, you get to some of the features and functions. They're just little things that when I lived with that 1300 for 6 months, they just got on my nerves a bit. Things like, you know, turning on the heated seat and raising and lowering the windscreen and stuff like that. Just little niggles that add up over time and get on your nerves. I don't have any little niggles with this bike. I know it's starting to look dated, and I know the engine's not as good as the 1300, but it's uber comfortable. It does everything I need. It's got buttons to do everything that I want. As far as I'm concerned, it's the perfect do-it-all motorcycle. Anyway, so I am a GS fanboy. I'm not enough of a fanboy to buy the new 1300 or the GSA, which I have to say the pictures I think looks an absolute donkey. Looks like it's made out of Lego. Now I know BMW can't win because people said they wanted a big, heavy, muscular bike, and they've definitely come up with us that for sure. And I know loads of people say, "Oh, you see it in the flesh, it's lovely." I think I dislike it enough to not think it's lovely when I see it in the flesh. But anyway, I reserve the right to change my mind, although I really don't think I'm going to. Anyway, that's the other bike I'm looking forward to riding and reviewing. And again, I've already asked BMW if I can do that, and they've said yes. So all credit to BMW for not taking umbrage at me not being glowing about the new GS so far. So thank you to those guys. You know the old "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" thing? Well, you know, they could have still been knocking out this 1200 and it would have still sold, I'm sure. It's just such a good bike, this. Flipping love it. Except the quick shift is a bit clunky. Another white van. Is he going to let me out? No, he's not. Thank you, Vinci Facilities. Miserable looking fella. I'm sure he's just having a bad day. So I'll give him a pass on that. Right, what else did I want to cover off? Let's have a look at my list. Oh yeah, I know what it was. I bought myself some fancy live streaming kit.
Hey, so look at this, folks. Brill, eh? It's almost like being in a radio studio here. Not one, but two of these fancy new mics, and I've got a special mixer that does all sorts of sound effects and everything. Cool, eh? Right, back to the vid.
As I've mentioned in the past on the channel, if you've been watching for ages, many years ago I used to work, in fact this is many years ago, this is when I was at sixth form. In my summer holidays I used to work for the BBC at the local radio station, and my dream job was to be on the radio. Sadly that got overtaken by reality, when I learned that, well, number one, it was very hard to get a job on the radio. Everybody wanted to do it. And number two, you didn't earn much money. So in the end, I followed the money, which was fine, but it didn't lead for a very exciting career. But it did mean I could retire at 48 and then start doing this. So that's fine. But the irony of it all is, you know, making these videos isn't a million miles away, is it, from that broadcasting future that I wanted. So I'm absolutely chuffed that I'm able to do this now. And of course, the other thing you can do as a YouTuber are live streams, and I love doing those. I haven't done one for 6 months, so I thought it was high time I did one. So I've invested in some good microphones, a bit more lighting, and a little mixing desk. It does all sorts of things. And I'm looking forward to doing some more live streams. So let me know if you're interested in them. I get a bit nervous about setting them up, and there's always the spectre of technology letting you down and not being able to go live when you say you're going to go live. So I'm not going to give you much warning in advance. I'll probably just go live one day. All I would say is, if I do it, they'll be at 8 o'clock in the evening. So keep your eyes on YouTube at 8 PM over the next few weeks. You might find me, or me and Mrs. Flyer, on a live stream. And I guess that was my question to you, and I think I know the answer. Do you want just me? Do you want Mrs. Flyer? Do you want us both? Do you want me to have phoning guests? And if so, is there anyone in particular you'd like me to have? Luckily for me, I think I'm in contact with most of the YouTubers that you probably watch, and most, if not all, seem very friendly, and I can probably get them on the live stream. I've already been in touch with Freddie Dobbs. He's keen, so we'll get him on. We're just in debate as to whether to do it in person or via phone call, and there's some other logistical stuff, so it won't be for a little while, but hopefully we'll get Freddie on. So don't bother requesting Freddie, he's on the list. But there's all sorts of other people I can think of. But anyway, you tell me who you'd like, and I'll see if I can line them up for future live streams. Now I've got fancy microphones and stuff, and I can live out my dream of being on the radio again, even though it'll be video. And ironically, I'll probably end up getting more viewers for that than I would ever have had listeners if I was on local radio. Isn't that bizarre? Depending on the local radio station, of course. Blimey, you can see why I want to be on the radio. I don't often witter on, don't I? I don't know how long I've been talking. Oh my goodness me. According to my camera, 27 minutes. This is going to be a long video. Goodness me. I really enjoyed making this video because I do like to natter, as I say. And what better way to have a natter than out on your favourite bike on a lovely warm day, talking to some of your favourite people.
Alright, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you fancy watching another of my vids, then why not try this one?